Good morning, Wojak ETH community. Today is December 11th, 2025. Gorgeous sunshine morning on a Thursday. The market went down. Bitcoin, dropped below 90K, and the Wojak dropped even more. So it's discouraging, to see the market just going sideways or going down. And we essentially raised all the all the gains that we had over the last week. So it's feels like we just went back to where we started. I picked up some more. Two of my orders executed overnight. Also buy some more this morning. So whenever the price drops, I tend to buy a little bit more than usual. But yeah, like what we talked about yesterday, people still don't believe that the 4-year cycle is becoming obsolete. Especially the retail, they are just selling, in anticipation of a crypto winter, as we see in the previous two cycles. Um, uh, that's why I believe the smart money, the big institutional money, they are buying right now. If you look at ARK, Sailor, Meta Planet, they're all buying. The retail are the ones who sell, and it's unfortunate. Wealth is supposed to be transferring from institutional buyers to retail, but we're seeing the opposite. But it happens in every market. Always the dumb money, you know, they lose out to the smart money. Um, Also, I think part of the reason the market dropped was because gold and silver went up. Again, it's the battle between traditional finance and decentralized finance, crypto. We still have these old guards, China, India, um, even Middle East. They're spending their wealth buying gold and silver. Um, One of the tweets that I uh, wrote about 2 months ago, outlined why I don't believe this gold and silver craze is gonna last. We are in the financial reset. So the US dollar, which has been the global reserve currency for 70 years, is becoming, overthrown. So the world needs to find the next reserve currency. And before it finds it, it's going to resort to something that's safe, like gold and silver, which has been reserve currency for the world for 5,000 years. But that doesn't mean that it's going to, stay on that standard. We're never going to go back to gold standard. So before the next standard arises, we're going to see temporarily gold and silver becoming that standard. It's kind of like when you use the example of illumination, of lighting. In the beginning, people use torches to get light. Then they use candles. Then they use halogen light. Then they eventually use incandescent lights. Then finally LED lights. So during a blackout, which is a reset, people probably temporarily revert to candles, to tie them over. But they're not gonna go back to using candles for long term. And that's what I see this reset as well. Everybody knows dollar is finished, so we just don't know what the next one is gonna be. And I personally is betting everything that the future money is gonna be um, based on software, first of all, and second of all, it's gonna be programmable. So um, Bitcoin is gonna be the reserve, but Ethereum is the first programmable money we have. And on top of Ethereum, we're going to grow the next generation of financial instruments and institutions. And that's why I'm betting everything on crypto. But this trend takes time to play out. And in the short run, we're going to have fluctuations in price. We're going to see market severely undervalues crypto and Ethereum and Wojak, and that's why I still think we're in the accumulation phase, and just buy up as much Wojak as I can, at these price levels. Um, Also, just want to shout out to the community members, um, to Algo, VR, Cherry, um, Ash, Reverend. Thank you guys for the community active. Um, yeah, let's again, reach out to one another, encourage one another, like, retweet one another's posts, and make our noises heard. Today I saw kind of like a, you know, alarming tweet from Bubble Map, this Twitter account, talking about Pepe. If you roll back the clock 2 years ago, when Pepe first launched, it was heavily bundled. So it just means a bunch of big holders of Pepe, and they transferred their um, large amounts to multiple wallets, distribute their holding to multiple wallets. And the conclusion is that, PayPay is not as decentralized as people claim to be. And some people, derived a corollary from that, saying that, oh, PayPay is more like a scam. I don't think so. Just because a project was bundled at conception doesn't mean that it was a scam. I mean, if that's a scam, then Bitcoin was also bundled. I mean, Satoshi right now is still the single biggest Bitcoin holder, on chain, with over 1 million Bitcoins. So, you know, when PayPay, after the first initial week, the initial holders, the major holders, a lot of them sold, you know, and PayPay right now is very decentralized. If you look at, the holder of PayPay, a lot of them, they're just centralized exchanges, Uniswap. Um, so it's quite decentralized. And I say the same thing with Wojak. I don't know the initial stage of Wojak, whether it was bundled or not, but even if it was bundled, um, the majority of the major holders of Wojak over the past 2.5 years, they've sold. They've sold their bags, and right now, if you look at um, the holders of Wojak, it's really decentralized. I think Wojak is as decentralized as Bitcoin, and that's why you see the growth that we have is extremely organic, and the price movement follows closely to Bitcoin. I mean, of course, the magnitude varies. Bitcoin goes up more, we go up a lot. You know, Bitcoin drops a little bit, we drop a lot. But in terms of direction, we move in sync with Bitcoin. It just shows that we are organic, like Bitcoin is organic, and that's a very encouraging sign. And that's why I posted a tweet today for all the Wojaks out there. Let's move our bags off of centralized exchanges like Gate.io and MECX. I saw that Gate.io holds like 14% of Wojak uh, supply between their cold and warm storage. That's just absurd. They can use that supply to manipulate the price. And I know that I'm sure Gate.io doesn't own 10% of Wojak. The tokens they hold are from the community that we set, let's say, a sell order at a really high price, and just leave it there, hoping that it's going to fill. You know, um, but I believe that this bull market we're going to have is not going to be short. It's going to be long. So there will be plenty of time and chances for us to sell when price moves. So you don't need to set a extremely high price at this time and hoping that it would fill. Let's just remove the tokens for now, and when price 10x, 100x from now, then we can shift our tokens back onto the exchanges. But it's also safer, for your bag, because if Gate.io or MCEX gets hacked, you know, your token, you might lose your tokens as well. So just use a cold storage yourself. If you don't know how to use a cold storage, there are plenty of instructions on YouTube. It's really easy. I mean, the cold storage, it doesn't really store your tokens. It's just another key, a gateway that prevents people, unscrupulous characters, from accessing your bag, your tokens. The Your asset still resides on chain. So just like anything else, it takes a little bit learning curve. But once you use it, you can just bring your cold storage with you anywhere in the world, and your asset comes with you, and you don't have to worry about a centralized exchange getting hacked and losing your Bitcoin or your Wojak tokens. Because we saw so many hacks, even big exchanges like Bybit, they got hacked multiple times. So that's why let's remove our tokens, and give these centralized exchanges less of a power to manipulate the price, and then we'll truly see the organic growth of Wojak. Again, buying at these levels, continue to buy, free up cash, just to accumulate as much as possible, and I'll give you another update tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.